Animals don't usually need words or promises to show loyalty. Every glance, every nuzzle says it all. Their love for humans is raw, pure, and unwavering. Brace yourself for a wave of emotions as we dive into these unforgettable moments of reunion between pets and their people. These are 15 powerful times animals found their way back home and showed what love truly looks like. Number 15. Ali and Sarah. Well, these cats are wild. But Sarah doesn't chase gazelles. She waits for Ali. That's how deep this bond runs. Ali met her when she was a fragile 4-month-old, barely holding on. Since then, she's been his shadow. Emotional, stubborn, affectionate, Sarah's never been an easy animal, but Ali never flinched. He pushed through red tape, endless rules, and the side eyes of people who didn't understand. He wasn't trying to own her. He just knew she needed him. And maybe he needed her too. When he leaves, Sarah falls into silence. She stares at the gate like it owes her something. Food loses its flavor. Time stretches. But the moment he's back, that cold stare melts. She rubs her face against his, tail low like her heart can finally settle again. She doesn't ask where he went. She doesn't need answers. She just needs him close. No cage can explain it. No law can define it. Some bonds don't follow rules. They just exist without any greediness. Number 14. Bernie and Luke. Bernie, a Galapagos tortoise, doesn't move fast or have any fluffy hair, but he never forgets, and these guys remember everything until they say goodbye. At 29 years old, he spent most of his life in a wildlife sanctuary that feels more like a 5-star resort. Luke, also 29, was his longtime caretaker there, feeding him, keeping him company, and forming a bond most wouldn't expect from a reptile. When Luke's job ended, he had to leave. A year passed. Bernie kept doing his thing, slow walks, sunbathing, eating greens, but something was missing. When fate brought Luke back to Florida, his first stop wasn't home, it was Bernie. And even after all that time apart, Bernie recognized him immediately. No hesitation. He stretched his neck, stepped forward, and nudged him like an old friend. If Bernie had the legs for it, he might have sprinted. But that slow, deliberate move, it meant everything. Some animals never forget who treated them right, and Bernie proved it the moment Luke stepped back into his world. Number 13. Kel and Prince. Meet Kel, the man whose home is more wildlife sanctuary than a house. Wolves, parrots, monkeys, even bears. But the one who steals the show is Prince, a young tiger cub who was once illegally sold. Thankfully, he ended up in Kel's care. Since then, Prince has known nothing but soft beds, belly rubs, and endless playtime. He's adjusted fast, too fast, maybe. Because when Kel's away, Prince gets jealous. Not angry, just sulky. He watches the other animals get attention, but it's not the same. He wants Kel. He wants that connection. That bond. And when Kel comes back, Prince doesn't roar or pounce. He leans in, melts down, and demands to be spoiled. Kel's working on preparing him for life at the rescue center, where he'll have space to roam and other tigers to meet. But no matter where Prince goes, something's already been locked in. For him, Kel isn't just another caretaker. He's home. The first one that ever felt safe. Number 12. Max and Huie. Max Strong doesn't see a wild animal when he looks at Huie. He sees a best friend who just happens to have spots and a laugh that could scare off burglars, just like Harley Quinn. But this is real. 8 years ago, Max rescued Huie as a tiny orphaned cub. Most people would have backed away. Hyenas have a rep for being mean, unpredictable, and maybe even dangerous. Max didn't care. He looked into Huey's eyes and saw something real. Since then, they've grown into something you can't fake. Huie waits at the fence every time Max leaves. Doesn't eat much and doesn't sleep right. Just stares into the distance like he's watching the door in his mind. The moment Max returns, Huie lights up. He nuzzles in, whines, and follows him around like a shadow. Max doesn't treat him like an exhibit or a pet. He treats him like family. like a soul that found its match in a human. And Huie, he's proof that even the wildest hearts remember who loved them first. Number 11. Jaime and the Rhinos. After 2 months away, Jaime had no idea how she'd greet all her friends, but the moment she walked through the gate, she was buried in kisses, snorts, and full-on rhino hugs. As a vet, Jaime never expected to work with rhinos. She preferred small pets, fluffy ones. But when she started volunteering at a sanctuary for orphaned rhinos in Africa, something changed. These quiet, often solitary animals opened up. Every morning, the babies would run to her like excited puppies, refusing to leave her side. She fed them, treated their wounds, and stayed through the nights when they couldn't sleep. And when she left for vacation, the staff said the animals noticed. They stood near the fence more often. They moved less, but the day she returned, everything came back to life. She didn't need to call them, they just knew. Rhinos don't wag their tails, but they show joy in every stomp and nuzzle, and Jaime wouldn't trade that greeting for the world. Number 10. Lil Anne and Zelada. Zelada doesn't just love Lil, he lives for her. And let's say they can't live without each other. This 70-kilo fluff ball has the emotional intelligence of a therapist and the clinginess of a toddler. Every time Lil Anne steps out, even just for groceries, he waits at the door like she's coming back from war. And when she does, it's a full-blown celebration. Tail going wild, body bouncing, like he's holding in every emotion until she's home safe. He sleeps next to her like a bodyguard with a soft side, breathing heavily, one paw always touching her. Rain? Doesn't care. He drags her out for their walk. Groceries? He carries the bags, proud as if he built them himself. But when she cries, that's when you see his soul. He gently noses her, then places his giant head on her lap like, "I got you." No barking, no fuss, just quiet, steady love. If that's not the definition of loyalty, nothing is. Number 9. Jenny and Sloan. Scooby-Doo might have left the mystery machine behind because these days he's chilling with Jenny. Well, okay, not really Scooby, but Sloan comes pretty close. Jenny didn't expect her ex's parting gift. A Great Dane puppy would become the love of her life. But here they are. That tiny pup grew into a 2-meter, 70-kilogram goofball who guards her house like it's Buckingham Palace. When Jenny's away for work, Sloan takes it seriously. No visitors, no distractions, just him and the door. But the moment she returns, his entire body softens. He trots over, places both front paws on her shoulders, and leans in for a hug, like he's been waiting all week for that one moment. He never jumps without permission, though. Sloan knows his size and waits for the green light before his signature welcome home squeeze. Jenny wouldn't trade it for anything. Some dogs bark. Sloan just hugs. And that's all she needs. Number 8. The Chimp and the Hurricane. Well, you don't forget your mother. Not even if she's not the one who gave birth to you. That baby Chimp, he was raised by a woman who treated him like her own child, fed him, played with him, and taught him how to trust the world. For years, they did everything together. And then came Hurricane Helen. The day it hit, she wasn't there, she was out helping other animals evacuate. And he was alone, confused, and scared, calling out for the one person who made him feel safe. When she finally came back, everything froze. He saw her, ran full speed, and threw his tiny arms around her like he was afraid to let go. He wasn't just relieved, he was home again. That reunion, you can't stage that. It wasn't dramatic for the show, it was instinct, memory, and love crashing together all at once. Because when someone raises you with that kind of devotion, you never forget, not even if the world falls apart. But with devotion, not destruction. Number 7. Tony and Otis. Otis weighs nearly 50 kilograms, but his heart, easily 3 times that. Today, he's the pride of the Broome Animal Sanctuary. But life didn't start this sweet. Originally bred for lab testing, Otis was meant to live a life of cages, needles, and silence until Tony showed up. At just 4 months old, Otis got a second chance. But he came with problems: serious health issues, fragile immunity, and deep anxiety. None of it scared Tony off. He gave Otis everything: daily care, endless love, and a safe space to just be a pig. Now Otis is healthy, joyful, and adored by every visitor. But there's one thing he still can't handle: goodbyes. When Tony leaves on long trips, Otis gets nervous, paces, whines, refuses to eat like usual, because in his world, love came late, and now he's terrified to lose it. Tony just wants one thing: for Otis to never know fear again. Just peace. And a life as full as his snort-filled laugh. What do you think about it? Number 6. Tyler and House. Would you dare to pet a 2.5-meter longhorned cow? Tyler does it every day. House, the Aussie Longhorn, might look like a giant, but he's got the personality of a lapdog. Before Tyler showed up, no one on the farm realized how friendly this guy really was. These days, House waits near the fence every morning, keeping his eyes locked on the barn door, and the second he sees Tyler, it's on. Carrots in hand, head rubs ready, Tyler knows exactly how to keep him happy. There's no leash, no command, just routine. Scratch behind the ears, a snack or two, and that unspoken connection they've built over time. While most would see House as a pasture ornament, Tyler knows better. This isn't just a farm animal, it's a bond, a daily check-in, a friendship built on patience and simple gestures. Tyler may feed dozens of animals on the land, but House gets something different: attention, presence, and a quiet loyalty that never wears off. Number 5. Shishana and Hank. If fairy tales were honest, they'd be about girls like Shishana Ruhr, barefoot in the dirt, growing up alongside animals, not royalty. Her story starts with Hank, a buffalo she rescued when most kids her age were still learning to tie their shoes. Hank isn't some backyard pet. He's a 600-kilo beast with the soul of a guardian angel. He follows her like a shadow, lowers his head gently for hugs, and somehow knows when she's feeling off. Shishana didn't grow up in a palace. She grew up learning to listen to animals, to understand their silence. And Hank, he was her first real connection. Even now, with a ranch full of rescued animals, Hank stays her number one. When she leaves, he gets quiet and withdrawn. But the second she returns, it's game over. She drops everything for their day together, brushes his coat, talks to him like an old friend, just exists beside him. No throne needed. This is the real fairy tale. Alright guys, now let's talk about number 4, Claire and her horses. If you can't afford therapy, spend more time with horses, Claire says. And for her, that's not just a quote, it's her life. As a horseback riding instructor, Claire spends her days surrounded by horses she's trained, played with, and loved like family. Her bond with them isn't forced or fancy, it's real. They know her voice, they sense her mood, they even recognize her car. Leaving them, even for a weekend, always stings. But the reunions, that's the reward. The second she calls out, they start galloping from the far end of the field, dust rising, hooves thundering, ears pointed toward the sound they've been waiting to hear. Claire tries to hug them all at once, even though it's impossible. They nuzzle her hair, push against her shoulder, and crowd in so close she can barely move. But she doesn't mind. This isn't just her job, it's her joy. In a world that moves too fast, Claire found her peace with 4 hooves and a heartbeat. Number 3, Rocky. Well, that's why movies love to show Saint Bernards and Dalmatians as the perfect family dogs, but for her, nothing compares to Rocky. This Bernese mountain dog entered her life 5 years ago, and everything changed. He never slows down. Every walk is a new mission. Every day, a new discovery. Rocky doesn't just follow her, he leads with excitement, pulling her into the moment. She swears she's never felt more alive, But sometimes, life pulls her away. Trips to visit family mean days apart, and neither of them takes it well. He waits by the door. She counts the hours. But their reunions, impossible to miss. The moment she steps into view, Rocky lets out a howl so loud it turns heads at the airport. He doesn't care who's watching. He just wants his person back. Even strangers stop to smile, because in that moment it's clear, this isn't just a dog. This is someone who gives her life meaning. One tail wag at a time. Number 2. Jasmine and Spencer. Now this one is just heart-melting. It's not the doorbell that gets him moving. It's the sound of keys, the rhythm of home. Spencer knows it instantly without any effort. Jasmine's back. For days he holds it together, lounging with her husband, going on walks, and accepting treats. But he's never fully present until she returns. The second she steps inside, he's locked in, tail wagging, paws tapping, eyes glued. She's barely taken off her coat before he's nudging into her legs, claiming his spot back in her world. Spencer doesn't need fanfare. All he wants is time. Time on the couch, time in her lap, time just listening to her voice. Jasmine never forgets to bring him something, a chew toy, a biscuit, but he only lights up once she's close enough to touch. They don't make a big scene about their reunions. It's quiet, soft, and filled with a kind of love that doesn't need to be loud. He waited. She came back. That's all he ever needed. Number 1. Denil and Masha. Masha was tiny when Denil found her. Just a scared little cub who didn't know what kindness felt like. He didn't just give her food. He gave her safety, warmth, and something she never had before: home. She'd follow him around like a shadow, curling up next to him like she belonged there. And she did. But people saw a bear, not a bond. They filed complaints. Authorities came. And one day they took her away, just like that. The zoo called it protocol. Masha called it heartbreak. She stopped playing, stopped eating much, refused to connect with anyone. 2 months passed like years. When Denil was finally allowed to visit, she didn't hesitate. She ran to him, paws out, heart bursting through every step. She didn't growl or claw. She just melted into him, like she finally exhaled. That hug, it wasn't just sweet, it was sacred. And even though they're still apart, you can feel it, that love isn't going anywhere. If you've enjoyed this video, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you soon in the next one.